Yo, what is going on, mindful meatheads? Welcome to another video. Today I'm going to be talking to you guys about my personal experience with the past 60 days or 2 months when I started meditating. So I use an app for guided meditation. It's called Headspace. I know there are plenty of other apps like Calm. Sam Harris has an app that I've heard is really good. And a guided app is not necessarily necessary, but I'd say especially if you have no form of practice, then it almost is necessary because no one really knows how to meditate until you start and have a teacher. So it's really important. So pretty much all that meditation is, for those of you that don't know, is you sit down and you just focus on your breath. You close your eyes and you count your breaths in, one with the inhale, two with the exhale, all the way up until a count of 10, and just repeat it. Except when you close your eyes, you're going to realize that you are constantly being bombarded with thoughts that you really have no control over. And that's the cool part about meditation, is it shows you that you are just constantly having thoughts that come into your head that you are not even trying to do. In fact, you're actually trying to focus on your breath and not think, while simultaneously you are thinking. So I know it's a little bit confusing, but pretty much what I'm trying to say here is, as humans, we believe that all of our own thoughts are who we are, when that's not necessarily true. If you're gonna tell me, if you think that you have control over your own thoughts, and I've said this in previous podcasts, but Jim Carrey once said this, and it really got me thinking. He said, if you really think you're in control of your own thoughts, then tell me what's your next thought going to be? What are you about to think? You can't. You don't know what you're about to think. So that right there shows you that you are not really in control of your own thoughts. So why do we listen to them? Why do we allow our thoughts to dictate our feelings and push us around? All meditation is literally a workout for your mind. You train yourself to focus on your breath, and every time that you get distracted, you focus back on your breath. Every time you have a thought, you just simply note it and go back to the breath. So the type of meditation that I do, there's plenty of different types of meditation, and the one that I do is called mindfulness meditation. And we use a noting strategy. So what I said, every time I get a thought, I note it. So this way, you're able to create a little bit of space within your head and your mind, or within your head and your thoughts. So think about it this way. You're sitting there, you're focusing on your breath, and all of a sudden, a thought comes into your head. Oh crap, I have a test, I need to start studying, whatever. Usually, you'll then start thinking about that over and over and over, and it creates so much anxiety in your head that you won't be able to then focus on other things. And the only thing that we're able to think about is this test. Therefore, we now have all this anxiety. But what if I told you that you have a superpower that you just weren't aware of? What if I told you you didn't need to get anxious like you do? What if every single time you got anxious, you were able to just note it and say, you know what, you're right, of course I'm a little bit nervous, this is a big test coming up, but right now I'm meditating, and it's not going to do me any justice to sit here and think about that thought, so instead I'm going to focus back on my breath and figure it out once I finish meditating. And right there, you'll go back to your breath, and it takes a lot of practice, but eventually, and I've started to notice that I'm able to do this now, is I just focus on my breath, and that thought is just like any other thought. It's a cloud that's passing in the sky and just runs its course through my head and slowly goes away. In this way, I no longer get as anxious or depressed or any of these other emotions that take me away from a strong level of just being content with everything that is going on at the moment. So a lot of people think that the goal of meditation is to stop thinking, when in reality, that's not true. You know, you will never be able to fully stop thinking. Maybe if you're extremely enlightened, but until then, you will always be thinking. That is part of the human race and the human nature. However, if you meditate and learn to control your thoughts, you can then choose which thoughts you want to listen to. All meditation is a workout for your mind. Similar to how if you wanted to lose weight, you would go run and burn some calories. If you want to have a stronger mind, you have to meditate. As you continue to focus on your breath throughout meditation, you can then transfer this and be more mindful, to what we call mindfulness, throughout your life. So another example, maybe I'll be talking to someone, and this happens all the time. Maybe all of a sudden, I'm trying to pay attention in class, or I'm talking to someone, and my head starts going off, and I start thinking about something completely irrelevant, like, what do I have to have for dinner tonight? And usually I would let this thought run in my head, and I'd constantly be thinking, what do I have for dinner tonight? And it would just cause this unneeded stress for no reason. And then I'd realize that I'm not even paying attention to the person in front of me. But instead, what if you could then train your mind to focus on the person in front of you? All you do is you note your emotion. You say, of course, I'm a little bit nervous or whatever. I don't know what I need to eat for dinner tonight. I just had a really good workout and I don't want to ruin it. But right now I'm talking to someone, so I'm going to pay attention and figure this out later. And then right there, you are no longer thinking about that. You're focused on what's in front of you. You then will improve the relationship between not only you, but the person you're with. And as I have progressively started meditating, I'm able to have these conversations constantly throughout the day. And it's not even big things anymore. It's not all these every single thing that is causing me anxiety. Now I'm meditating or being more mindful and it's going away. It's just little things that are just distracting me. If I am trying to focus and write a paper and all of a sudden my mind gets distracted about something completely irrelevant, now my brain is literally strong enough to note it, say that's a thought, and then go right back to the paper and focus more. So these are crazy improvements that I've seen that have not only increased my productivity, but also my happiness and the happiness of the people around me. Meditation isn't about training yourself to always be happy, but all it is just training yourself to choose which thoughts you choose to listen to. So theoretically, if you meditate enough, you'll get to the point where, and I can't even remember the last time I've been in a bad mood. All because the world that we live in is an illusion that we create in our heads. This is something the philosopher Alan Watts talks about all the time. And that's the idea that everything that we think makes sense is only because we make it make sense in our brain. We draw these conclusions that may or may not make sense based on past experiences in our head. So another way to say this is pretty much everything in our lives, you can choose which way you want to interpret it, especially your thoughts. So let's say I'm sitting at dinner and I'm just in a bad mood. For some reason, nothing today good happened. I can have this internal conversation with myself and I can say, Caleb, right now you're at dinner with some people that you really like. Let's just say that this could be the last dinner you ever have with them, because you never know when the last dinner will actually ever be. For all you know, it could be now. And if you have this conversation with yourself and teach yourself to then focus on the conversation, then you can turn your bad mood into a great mood in a matter of seconds. And you no longer have to be upset about anything. So some of the benefits that I've noticed is my mood is improved, my productivity is improved, my sleep has improved, my grades have improved. I've been adding on more muscle mass because I think that I could focus more when I'm working out. I can just focus on other everyday tasks. So even when I'm doing things such as cleaning, which might take a little bit longer, now that I'm 100% focused, it doesn't take as long. And the most cool thing about meditation is I literally look forward to it now. I can see every single day I get a little bit better and become a little bit more mindful and become a little bit more happy. And that's all that I want from everyone. I think that if we together bash the stigma that sitting in silence, listening to your thoughts is weird, and embraced it and learned how to do it correctly, then we could all just be a happier human race. Please leave any comments below about any questions. I'm happy to talk with people, and enjoy. Start meditating. Start this journey. You won't regret it.